Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Jacob Wilson, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you hit that like button. We're going to talk about some very exciting stuff. For example, today we're going to talk about 3 things you can immediately do to lose fat at a rapid pace. The first thing I'm going to talk about is time-restricted feeding. Bottom line is that the window that we eat food seems to dictate in large part our body composition. And that includes whether I'm overeating or undereating, okay? So with time-restricted feeding, this is what I suggest. I suggest that you use 2 different windows. One is an 8-hour feeding period, one's a 4-hour feeding period, and that you cycle them, okay? So with step 1, you're gonna do essentially around 3 to 4 days a week. You're gonna only eat during an 8-hour feeding period. So you'll start at 1 o'clock and you'll end eating at 9 o'clock, okay? And the rest of the time, you're fasting. Water fasting, you can do some modified fast, but we'll talk about that in another video. The other thing that you're gonna do about twice a week is you're going to time restrict 4 hours, okay? So you're gonna start eating, for example, at 4 or 5 in the afternoon, you're gonna stop eating essentially at 8 or 9. You do that twice a week. If you're essentially gonna do 3 to 4 times 8 hours, 2 times the 4 hours, the rest of the week, you can eat breakfast. You're gonna not time restrict. So that's the first thing that you can do. Do that, just implement that right now, guaranteed in the next month, you're gonna lose a lot of fat, guaranteed. Second thing you can do, I want you to look at your training, okay, for the last 6 months, okay? Particularly the last 2-3 months. You've probably been writing your training down, right? Say you do barbell back squat, you do leg press, you do leg extension leg curls. Here's what I want you to do the next 30 days. Every exercise you've done in the last 6 months, the next 30 days, get creative and do none of them. None of them. Completely change up your exercise session, okay? So for example, if you've been doing barbell back squats, do front squats, do Bulgarian squats, do squats with bands, but do not do traditional barbell back squats. If you've been doing leg press, choose another leg press entirely. If you don't have another leg press, do lunges. If you've been doing lunges, then change the lunges up. Do stationary lunges, do walking lunges. Whatever you've done, either do a different variation of that exercise or an entirely different exercise so that your workout routine is completely novel and different. What that will do is it will cause a novel stimulus and that elevates your basal metabolic rate, meaning you'll be burning more calories over 24 hours. And over 30 days time, not only will you transform your body comp, your muscle mass, you're gonna lose fat at an accelerated rate, I promise you. And number 3 is carbohydrate manipulation. Whatever your carbs are at right now, unless you're on a ketogenic diet, you're gonna need to lower them and replace them with either protein or fat, right? So one thing you can do, if you're like, I'm not doing a ketogenic diet, you can carbohydrate cycle. If you're carbohydrate cycling, and we have 2 days where you have a low carb days, very low carb, you're then gonna do 1 day moderate and 1 day high. Then you're gonna come back and you're gonna do low carb day, moderate carb day, high carb day. So institute carbohydrate cycling and I guarantee you that you're gonna lose fat. So again, what's number 1? Time restricted feeding. What's number 2? Change all your exercises up. What's number 3? Some form of carbohydrate manipulation, whether it's cutting carbs out or it's carbohydrate cycling or it's ketogenic dieting. You do all those 3 things and the next 30 to 60 to 90 days, you will transform your physique. You'll lose fat at an accelerating rate. I promise you. See you next time.